And before anyone gets uncomfortable, defensive, or starts drafting an angry comment in their head, let's be very clear right from the start, my friends. This story is not about sexual orientation. It's about lying. It's about omission. It's about using another human being as emotional camouflage for years. This is a story about betrayal, but not the kind you're probably imagining. There's no mysterious woman with perfect lashes, no lipstick on a collar, no unfamiliar perfume clinging to clothes. No, this is the story of a woman who was betrayed by her husband and discovered that he had a secret boyfriend.
Because one thing is discovering who you are. A very different thing is doing it while hiding behind someone else's life. So yes, what you're about to hear might feel uncomfortable. It might feel absurd. It might make you laugh in that weird, nervous way. And it might make you say, "There's no way this is real." Spoiler alert, it is. Now that we've cleared that up, are you ready to waste a few more minutes of your day with me in this public service of emotional uselessness?
Good. Because welcome to Lying Whispers, where we turn real-life chaos into story time, questionable decisions into debates, and uncomfortable silences into content. If you like real stories that are messy, dramatic, and emotionally inconvenient, do the usual ritual: subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, share this video with that friend who always says, "This would never happen to me," and stick with me till the end, my friends, because this story doesn't start strange. It ends worse. And before we go any further, grab a coffee and follow this absurd story with me. Trust me, you'll need it.
I'm not the main character in this story, but I was the one who heard it all. I was the person listening to voice notes at 2 in the morning, reading messages that were way too long, and sitting in silence that spoke louder than any words. Let's call her Clara. Fake name. Very real pain. Clara was one of those women who looked like she had her life neatly organized into invisible folders. Responsible. Reliable. Put together. She had been married for many years, in a relationship that looked stable from the outside. Not perfect, but solid. The kind of marriage that makes people say things like, "They really love each other. They're so calm together." That's what a good marriage looks like. And Clara believed it. Because when a lie is repeated long enough, it starts to sound like the truth. Her husband, let's call him Andres, was what people love to call a good guy. Polite. Kind. Helpful around the house. He didn't yell. He wasn't aggressive. He didn't do anything obviously wrong. And that, my friends, is sometimes the most dangerous part. The changes didn't come like an explosion. They came like whispers. His phone became an extension of his body. Always close. Always locked. Always face down. Notifications stopped appearing. Passwords started changing. Work meetings became more frequent. Clara noticed. Of course she did. But she did what so many people do when they love someone and don't want to lose the stability they built. She explained it away. She minimized it. She convinced herself she was overthinking. He's stressed. It's just a phase. In being dramatic. How many times have you said that to yourself, my friends? There were no constant fights. No threats of separation. No dramatic scenes. The relationship was quietly decaying. They still shared the bed, the bills, the routine, but they no longer shared real intimacy, deep conversations, emotional connection. And when connection leaves, lies move in. The truth didn't come out in some cinematic moment. No dramatic music. No rain against the window. It was a random Tuesday. Completely ordinary. Andres left his phone on the couch. Unlocked. And let me pause right here. Don't come at me with moral superiority. We've all felt that moment. That gut feeling that refuses to shut up. Clara stared at the phone for a few long seconds. She knew crossing that line would change everything. And she crossed it. She expected the usual. Another woman. Flirty messages. Something predictable. But no. The conversation was with a man. And it wasn't casual. It wasn't confusing. It wasn't harmless. It was intimate, emotional, deep. Long messages, declarations, confessions. Things like, "With you, I can finally be myself. I miss you even when I'm with her. I hate lying to her." In that moment, Clara's world didn't explode. It emptied. Because she understood something devastating. She wasn't just being cheated on. She was being used as a cover. She put the phone back, sat down, and waited. When Andres came home, Clara didn't scream. She didn't cry. She didn't make a scene. She asked one question, and he didn't deny it. Because when someone stops denying, it's because they're exhausted from holding the lie. It's because they're exhausted from holding the lie. Andres let out a long sigh. The kind of sigh that sounds rehearsed, heavy, performative. The sigh of someone who has been preparing this confession for years and still hates every word of it. Clara looked at him, waiting for anything that might soften the blow. An explanation, a denial, a miracle. Instead, he said the sentence that should honestly come with a warning label. It's not what you think. And right there, my friends, let's pause for a second. Because it is always exactly what you think when someone opens with that line. Clara didn't raise her voice, didn't cry, didn't even blink. She just said quietly, "Then tell me what it is." Andres sat down across from her like he was about to confess to forgetting an anniversary, not dismantling an entire life. He talked, a lot, about feeling different for as long as he could remember, about never allowing himself to explore it, about fear, expectations, family pressure, society. Very deep, very emotional, very centered on him. And Clara listened. She nodded. She stayed still. She absorbed every word like someone watching a car crash in slow motion. Then she asked the only question that actually mattered. How long? Andres looked down. For years. Years, my friends. Not weeks. Not months. Years. Something shifted in Clara's face. Not anger. Not shock. Recognition. "Did you ever love me?" she asked. And that question should be illegal in a marriage. Because there is no answer that doesn't hurt. Andres took too long. "I cared about you," he said. "But I never really knew who I was." And just like that, something inside Clara cracked. Because here is the thing. It wasn't that he loved a man. It was that she had been the placeholder. The safe choice. The camouflage, the socially acceptable costume. So, she said slowly, "I was your disguise." Silence. And when silence doesn't argue back, it confirms. They didn't sleep in the same bed that night. Clara lay awake staring at the ceiling, replaying memories like they were suddenly unreliable witnesses. Was that trip real? Was that laugh genuine? Was that "I love you" ever meant for her? Because cheating hurts. But realizing your entire past might be a performance? That rewrites you. The next day, Andres tried to be gentle, understanding, soft. He said he didn't want to lose her, that she was important, that she was his best friend. Ah, yes. The best friend promotion. That honorary title you get when love no longer knows where to place you. Clara listened, and then for the first time she laughed. Not happy laughter, not relief. The kind of laugh that escapes when reality becomes too absurd to process. "You know what hurts the most?" she said. "I could have understood you if you had told me the truth." And there it is, my friends, the core of everything. It wasn't the identity. It was the sustained deception, the daily acting, the emotional theft. In the days that followed, Andres talked about processes, about time, about finding himself. Clara talked about boxes, moving dates, separation. And that shocked him, because in his mind, she was supposed to stay.
Support him. Wait.
After all, he was being brave. But no one asked Clara if she wanted to be the collateral damage of that bravery. Their final conversation was quiet. Too quiet. I never meant to hurt you, Andres said. I just didn't know how to get out. Clara looked at him and replied calmly. You knew. You just didn't want to pay the price. And that was it. The divorce was peaceful, almost unsettlingly so. No screaming, no public drama, no scandals, just paperwork, signatures, and an entire life folded into cardboard boxes. Andres moved on, lighter, freer, smiling in a way that finally looked honest. And Clara had to rebuild, not because she was abandoned, but because she realized she had never truly been accompanied. Now, let me ask you, my friends, would you forgive? Would you stay to support the process? Or would you walk away the same day? Where does empathy end and self-respect begin? Drop it in the comments, my friends. I need to know what you would do in this situation. And if you made it this far, grab that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who thinks lies are easier than truth. Because whispers may be quiet, but lies echo for years. And before you go, my friends, let's make a fair deal. If this story made you feel something, think twice, get uncomfortable, or let out that nervous little laugh. Subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. It costs you nothing, helps a lot, and honestly, it tells me I'm not alone out here whispering these absurd, real-life stories.
Subscribe, like the video, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Now go, I'll be waiting for you in the comments.